Hey, everybody, welcome to Something Suddenly Came Up, the podcast where my real life sister and I talk about everything 60s, 70s, and 80s. Guys, the fun stuff, the pop culture stuff, the musicians, the TV shows, the toys we played with, the snacks we ate. No politics, nothing serious, all fun. I'm Leann. This is my sis with the cool monitor, the Groovy Granny. Take it away.
I am, in fact, the Groovy Granny,
You
by the way.
are. You are. Yes, you are.
So we thought we'd start off with a bang. We are going to do the hardest countdown because that's kind of how the direction we're going to go in a lot of our shows,
Yeah.
where we're going to count down our top 5 favorite things of what the subject is for that day. And we started with a really hard one. It is our top 5 TV shows from the time frame that Leann mentioned of all time. So that can be sitcoms, dramas, variety shows, anything. So
And
here
it's a
we
tall
go.
order. Yeah. 1960s through the 80s, which really anything after that, blah.
Well, I
And
did slip into the 50s a
I
little
did
bit.
too. I did too. Because let's be honest, when we're talking top five TV shows, really that genre, especially if you're into sitcom land, we're talking that started in the 50s.
Yes, it did.
So, yeah, it was a tall order, right? It was not easy. And let's just say this to you guys watching at home. The Groovy Granny and I have been crushing it at trivia for our whole lives.
Our whole
And when
lives.
we play, right, and when we played family game night, God forbid if you put the two of us together as a team, we just
Yes,
obliterated everybody in the family. And not to sound like we're tooting our own horn, but a little toot. But just because we love this stuff, we're huge TV fans, retro
yes.
TV fans. We're huge, just like nostalgia fans for that time, right? It was a simpler time, a fun time, certainly a time when we were growing up.
The
So
music in particular were like a comfort for me. It was like a,
yes,
something that brought me peace
right.
in whatever situation I was in. I can remember the first time I gave blood, I was
Uh-huh.
like really scared and laying there, and they turned on, well, one of my favorite shows episodes, and I just relaxed completely. That's just kind of how it is with this stuff. When you get older, it's nice to go back to the things that bring you comfort.
I think you're right. And just the format of like these shows, it was so simple, right? They had a couple different sets. They had a real audience laughing in the background. Some of them had a laugh track, but
Yeah,
some
the
of the
laugh
stuff.
track came in the 70s.
Right, right. But it was just such a simpler time. And I think you're right. It's a comforting thing just to have these shows on. So, what do you say we start from five and work our way up to number one? I'm going to let you go first. What's
Okay.
your number five? Man, this was a tall order.
I changed one of mine at the last minute. I'll
Oh
just say
gosh.
that.
Okay.
So my
Okay.
number 5, I wanted to get a drama in here because when you
Okay.
think about it, when most people go back and watch reruns over and over, they
Mhm.
usually go to sitcoms.
You're right.
But
You're
this
right.
one particular drama for me, I've just always loved it, and I go back and watch it, when I got nothing else to do.
I'm so
And
excited.
that is Dallas.
Oh, yes.
Dallas was really like
Iconic.
the first hardcore nighttime soap opera.
Yes.
And it starred Larry Hagman as J.R. Ewing.
Right.
And I wrote down a couple of my favorite episodes, if that's okay. If you
Oh, I
remember
love
any
it.
of them.
It's iconic, Dallas. I
Yes.
mean, just okay. What are they? I can't wait to
So
hear.
the first one has to be the very first episode.
Okay.
It's when Bobby brings Pam home to meet
Okay.
the family for the first time. And what they realize when they meet her is that she is Digger Barnes's daughter. And Digger
Yes.
Barnes was the nemesis of Jock Ewing, who was the head of
Yes.
the Ewing family at the
Yes.
time. And there begins the sort of Romeo and Juliet romance that the two of them have with each other.
Right.
And I think that's like crucial. That very first episode, you must watch that to get the whole scenario of the show at that time. It
Yes,
changes quite a bit later on
it does.
about who the focus of the show is.
Right, right. And it's such a glamorous show too. It ends up being
For that
Victoria
time.
Principal and Linda Gray. They just have such, and Charlene Tilton with that cascade of
Oh my
huge blonde
gosh.
hair.
A
It's
little
such,
5 foot girl with amazing
yes,
hair,
with
like
that
you wouldn't
hair.
believe.
But it was just such a show with so much style, and it's so over the top. Love it. Sorry,
Very
go
over
ahead.
the top, which is kind of, that show actually started in 1978, but
Interesting. I did not know that.
most of its life, because I think it went
Mhm.
14 seasons, if you can believe
Mhm.
that,
Mhm.
was in the 80's.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh
as the
yeah.
80's moved in, the hair got bigger, the shoulder pads
Mhm.
got bigger.
I remember a scene where Linda Gray is wearing a swimsuit with a belt. She has a
Oh,
big, thick belt with a big buckle and a swimsuit. And I was like, that's indicative of the time, right?
and for a drama, and there was a lot of drama,
Yeah.
there were some funny taglines of things that JR and Bobby said to each other, Pam and JR said to each other. There are a lot of funny lines for
If it
sure.
had been today's day and age, there would be a lot of Dallas hashtags for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, what are the
There's
other ones?
another one, another episode. I'll try to move on
Well, I know
quickly,
what you
but
better
it's
say, girl, but tell
my
it.
favorite. It's
Okay.
called Paternity Suit.
Oh,
And Sue Ellen has an affair with Pam's brother, Cliff
Cliff. Oh,
Barnes,
Cliff
who
is
then becomes
JR. Can't
JR's
stand him.
nemesis.
Yeah.
And she becomes pregnant and she's not sure whether it's JR's or whether it's Cliff's.
Cliff.
So
Mm.
Cliff decides to sue for custody of the baby. And so, they don't know what to do. They're freaking out. They have to take blood tests. JR tries to bribe the guy. It didn't work. And at the very end, they find out it is JR's baby.
Yeah, John
And
Ross,
he
right?
hasn't even looked at the baby. He's never touched the baby because he thought it
Oh,
was Cliff's all this time.
oh
And the
man.
very last scene is what makes you hate JR, but know there's somebody in there that's good. And he picks up that baby and is just looking at him and loving him. And it's such an interesting moment for the character.
Yeah. Well, I think Larry Hagman is so good at that. He can play
Yes.
kind of a jerk, but at the same time, you see there's like hurt inside there somewhere.
Yes.
Something. There's
Yes.
something deeper there.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Uh,
good. He's good.
he's great. He made the show. Let's be
Yeah,
real.
he did. He did.
All right. What's your number 5?
Oh, well, I just have to say before it's all over, I know our mom was all torn up for the whole summer or whatever the hiatus went about who shot JR. I mean, that
Yes.
was all over the place, right?
Worldwide.
Worldwide. Yes, this was huge. Hey, Di, do we have spoiler alerts? I think we have to have spoiler alerts. So if
Yeah,
if you're
probably.
watching, you guys, spoiler alerts, turn away now if you're like, let me go back and watch Dallas from the
Yep.
jump. But and then when it was Bing Crosby's little girl that shot him, that added to the intrigue. We tuned back in like, wait, what?
Yes.
Oh my
It
gosh.
was, in fact, Kristen Shepard,
It
Sue Ellen's
was.
sister.
Yes,
Devious.
yes, yes.
Devious.
Mary Crosby, right? Is that her name? Mary Crosby?
Yes,
I'm
Mary
pretty sure.
Crosby.
Another beautiful head of hair, by the way.
Oh, God,
Uh,
yes.
okay. My number 5 could just as easily be a number 1. I had a hard time with this list because they're kind of all vying for number 1. But for me is the Twilight Zone.
Oh, yes.
I love the Twilight Zone. I think everybody does. It just was groundbreaking at the time. It's still groundbreaking. You watch it and there's a concept about it. There's that edge of film noir. There's some comedy in there, just a little bit. There's drama, there's sci-fi, everything you could ask for. But it's funny, one of the episodes that I like the best has Dick York. He's Darren from Bewitched, if you're like, I know that name. He is just this mild-mannered banker, and I believe he's going to buy a newspaper on the corner before he goes into the bank. And he throws his coin into the box, and the coin sits up on its side, which is pretty unheard of, and it stays
Yeah.
on its side. And what it does, this moment happens where he gets telekinetic powers. So he walks into the bank and he can hear what everybody's thinking. He knows the boss is having an affair. He knows, that the lady behind the desk kind of likes him a little bit. And just as the story unfolds, he's Dick York. So he plays it kind of warm and a little
Yeah.
bit bumbling. And one of my favorite episodes. I love that. And then, of course, any Twilight Zone episode with William Shatner. Again, spoiler
Oh,
alert,
yeah.
team. Yeah. The weird thing out on the wing after
The classic.
after he's had the nervous breakdown and he's flying for the first time since he's been out of
Yes.
the institution. That, of course, just he gets that Captain Kirk, William Shatner acting that we know and love. But I think the one I like the best, and I want to get the episode correct because in case people want to tune into it, Nick of Time. And that's the
Oh,
one where he goes into that little diner and there's that fortune telling machine with the little devil head on the top. And he starts
oh my
getting
gosh.
obsessed with putting coins into that fortune telling machine. But that's the thing about Twilight Zone. There's heart to it for sure. There's a lot of episodes that have a lot of heart. There's, like it's a little bit of comedy, mixed in, comedic elements, but very much ahead of its time.
And some
Or,
really
right?
fine actors were on that
Yes.
show in their youth, but even
Yes,
later on, there was a lot of really good actors that
there
came on
really
that show.
were.
That and Alfred Hitchcock Presents,
Yes,
both of those were very interesting.
right. It had all of the actors that went on to bigger and better things,
Hmm.
but it also had this kind of cast of faces that you saw over and over. Who
Yeah,
were those really core actors? And that's an episode for another day, but those core
yeah,
actors that were just, they came onto all the I know there were different like such and such playhouse brought to
yeah.
you
Four
by
Star
whatever.
Playhouse.
Yes. And they would
Yeah,
come on and just do this amazing acting, kind of like soap opera actors that I think are
yeah.
unsung. They really are those, they have a very big range. You know their face, you feel like you know them. But so my number five, but it could easily be up on the list is Twilight.
Yeah, agreed, agreed. Should I do my number four?
Yeah, do your number four.
Okay, my
I'm
number four, I
interested.
changed at the last minute, and I'll tell you
Okay.
at the end
Okay.
who I removed. It was super painful. Number four is the Carol Burnett
Oh,
show.
girl. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Oh my gosh, that was a great time in my life. We used to go to what we called our beach house, which was
Hmm.
hardly that. It was not that glamorous,
It's a
believe me.
little house on a creek.
Yes, a
Yeah,
very dirty creek, but I swam in it.
I did too. I did too.
But on the Saturday night lineup, I know Carol Burnett bounced around a little bit, but there was a very distinct Saturday night lineup, and she was mixed in there, her show. And we just all sat in front of the TV and watched it and just would laugh every time. And she had such longevity. I think she started in 1968 with that
Yeah,
show.
I
And then
think
it
you're
ran, I
right.
think, 11 seasons. And
It,
it won, she changed casts a little bit. Like, believe it or not, Harvey Korman left at the end and Dick Van Dyke took his place. But what a wonderful replacement that was. But you can't beat Harvey and Tim Conway together.
can't. You can't. You can't.
Tim
Har
Conway doing the old man was my absolute favorite. I mean,
which
they
go
never
ahead and
let you
say it.
down.
Go ahead and say it. It scared me for some reason. I was very little when it was on, and I loved the show because I think I have the same warm feelings about it as you do, as just being
Yeah.
part of that evening lineup. And our mom's best friend would come over and watch,
Yes.
so we
Yes.
have warm feelings about that too. For some reason, him playing that little old man shuffling along, like, I was a little scared of him. I don't know
Well,
why.
I know you were afraid of when she played the older lady.
I have no idea why.
What was her
And
name?
I love
Stella
seniors.
something?
Yes, Stella Toddler.
Stella
And I
Toddler.
just have to go on the record. I love seniors, everybody. It's not that.
You
But
better, since I'm one now.
since I'm quickly becoming one, it's just something about their demeanor. They were just a little off, but those characters and Harvey, I think Harvey is the most unsung
Yes.
hero of
Could
that
do
place.
everything.
Oh, he could.
Because they were making
Yes.
fun of their singing. He could sing.
Yes.
Sing. It was
Yes.
crazy.
he could do those leading man little parts when they were doing
He would like try that like Laurence Olivier kind of talking, you know.
I think he thought he was Ronald Coleman.
Ronald Coleman, that's right.
Yes,
and then he'd be so serious, but then his toupee would fall off or
yes,
something.
exactly. Love Harvey Korman. God rest his soul. He was so talented. Love him. And of course, Tim. But I mean, really, it's the two of them bouncing off each other that made it so hysterical.
And my
then
very favorite thing was when they did the family episode.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And then, of course, the classic blooper from that.
Yes.
Because Tim would always change what he was going to say and surprise the cast.
Right.
You know, which made it a million times better even. And so Carol was trying not to crack up because she said the family episodes meant a lot to her.
Yeah.
They had a deeper meaning than the comedy that was there sometimes.
Okay.
And when Tim did the elephant routine and Vicky for the first time decided to like break everyone else up, and she made a very funny comment that probably had to be bleeped.
Yes.
It's like a classic blooper.
It is. I just always remember him being like, "Hello, Mother Harper," like real loud in her face.
She'd be like,
yeah.
And one last thing about the show. They did almost a full Broadway production as the last thing they did at the end of the show. They would recreate some Broadway show or movie musical. And you know, it was truly a variety show.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's an actual variety show. There's comedy, there's singing, there's dancing. There's even like moments that are kind of serious. I can still remember Carol coming in to this kind of dark office scene. She sits on the edge of the desk and she starts singing that Judy Collins, Bring in the Clowns.
Mm-hmm.
Very seriously, beautiful voice. But I remember as a kid being like, whoa, that's like kind of serious.
Yeah.
But like such a range of talent. And
very much
I really loved on that show that came on all the time is Steve Lawrence.
Oh yeah.
What a cool guy. He's like a cool guy. Could sing. He
was funny too.
Yes. Love Steve Lawrence. And I never probably would have been exposed to him as a child except because he was on that show so much.
Another talented guy who I don't think got credit for the amount of talent, he was actually a very good dancer, was Ken Berry.
Oh gosh. Yeah, you always think of him from Mayberry RFD, like kind of a goofball. And then later on Mama's Family.
On Mama's Family.
But yeah, he's a very talented guy, isn't he? And a handsome guy. I think he could do those kind of leading guy parts that, And I remember enjoying him on Tattletales quite a bit with his wife, Jackie Joseph.
That was one of our mom's favorite game shows. Tattletales.
And then a last thing about Carol that I want to mention is those beautiful Bob Mackie gowns. That was really like, and her wanting to talk to the audience at the beginning. I loved that.
That was some of the funniest moments.
Oh my gosh. So much so. I love it. Well, I love it. That's a great number 4. My number 4 may shock you because again, everything on my list could really be swapped around.
Yeah.
My number 4 is Charlie's Angels. And I just want to go on the record as saying, for those of you at home that had Drew Barrymore come to mind or Cameron Diaz, I want you to just walk out the room for a moment. Collect yourself and come back in.
And learn about the real Charlie's Angels.
Yes, because we're talking about, we've got the original cast, of course, Farrah Fawcett, breakout star. I don't even think they expected what happened with Farrah's fame. Miss Kate Jackson, who's quite an actress, and I think really brought a level of not only class to the show, but I think she really wanted it to be something more, a mystery. Very talented actress. And Jaclyn Smith, who, I mean, gorgeous, classy, and Mr. David Doyle, who I don't think gets enough credit.
I don't even.
Funny, a guy that could do funny, but could also do very heartwarming.
The show wouldn't have been the same without him.
No, I just loved it. But as you know, anybody who knows me, Cheryl Ladd's my girl. I love Cheryl Ladd. When she opened that door and Jill's kid sister comes in, she just took that part and went.
Played it perfectly. Like
he did.
Like a young enthusiastic
Yes, yes.
version of Farrah, I guess you would
Yes, and
say.
instead of being like, I'm gonna come in and be as sexy as Farrah, she came in with humor, and she's gorgeous. I mean, please.
Yes.
But she came in with humor and heart, and I just loved it. And you and I have said this to each other. I don't think Shelley Hack gets enough credit. She had
No.
to fill that slot that Kate Jackson left. And Shelley Hack, a real model. For those of you watching, remember she was the Charlie perfume girl, a
Yeah.
real model. I mean, just beautiful, classy. I really liked her a lot. And I think I'm going to go on the record as saying she got thrown under the bus because
She totally
I
did.
think the format was starting to peter out a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think they had needed someone to blame. And I don't think it was any of the actors,
Right.
honestly. But I don't think it was Shelley Hack. And I might be botching the name, but one of my favorite episodes is Angels Go Truckin'. And anybody
Oh,
from
where
our era,
Cheryl is one of the, yeah.
yes. And
Is it her
anybody,
aunt that she's trying to help solve the
I
crime
think
about?
it's a lady that Charlie knows, and for some reason her trucking company is getting intercepted and things
Okay.
hijacked. But I just love it because anybody who's a 70s kid knows that the CB was a big thing, right?
Yes.
Movies about, CB, look at Smokey and the Bandit, Convoy, any of those things. The CB was big. So that
Yes.
Angel's going trucking and Cheryl being like, hey, it's Angel Eyes. That
Hey,
was
good
a
buddy.
real, yes, yes, that was a real thing. People, guys with tattoos like trucking for Jesus or whatever. It was a thing. It was a thing. So that is like an episode that not only was a good episode and fun, but such a time specific episode. But I really just liked Charlie's Angels across the board. It was
I did
fun.
too.
I think it's really disrespectful and inaccurate that first season, I think, got called Jiggle TV or something, which is really
Absolutely
offensive
inaccurate.
because I think they were all acting very well. I think they're beautiful, and I think they got to play parts where they were being women that were assertive and strong,
Strong
and
women for the first time, not in
yeah,
the kitchen cooking, and
yeah. And the
um,
guys were the sidekicks on that show,
yes,
right?
yeah,
I
absolutely.
really I loved it. As a little girl, I was like, I'm gonna grow up to be a cop with a purse like
Yeah,
that. I was
probably a lot of
like,
little girls thought that
yeah,
way. Hey, I
yeah.
can be a
They were
police officer now.
they
My
were
favorite
fast.
episode, of course, is the
Yeah.
classic Angels in Chains.
Oh, girl, yes, of course.
I
Yes,
mean, that's the
yes.
classic. When Jacqueline Smith has to open her towel and she says, "When was the last time you were sprayed, Miss whatever her name
Yes,
was?"
yes.
The mean old guard there.
Oh, it was so worrisome in a way, though. I'm sure it was nothing like prison, but that little look into what it would be like, and I was like, oh,
But the actual feeling of being trapped,
yes,
like we
yeah,
are on our own here. It was, yeah,
yes, yes. So that
that
was
was just,
Farrah, Kate, and Jacqueline. That was
yes,
season one, right? Yeah,
yes,
that was
season one.
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Well,
And
that was a great choice.
you can't go wrong. And
You
I really
cannot
think
beat Charlie's Angels.
you can't. And again, people, no shade, but if you've seen the movies and you're like, oh, I thought that's what it was. They took the format and twisted it up, and that's not what we were watching growing up. So just
Right,
know that it's fun, but it's not the same
right.
thing. So
Exactly.
watch the old episodes if you haven't.
Totally agree. Totally agree. And you can find them on the streaming
A
services
hundred
for
percent.
sure.
Yes. We get no kickbake from Tubi, but
That's
Tubi is
right.
real.
Yeah.
Yes, Tubi, if you'd like it.
Okay. My
All
number
right.
three is Taxi.
Oh, I watched it last night.
I watch it. It's well, I shouldn't name names, but there is a streaming service that has it. They have a channel that's actually called On Now. Because
Yes,
sometimes I miss just being able to turn a channel on and not know what's coming. You
me
know?
too. Me too. And also to have it just roll into the next one
Yes,
without me knowing, are they going to do it in order? Is it going to be like,
correct.
oh, I totally agree. There's something so comforting about, I don't want to find which episode it is. I don't want,
Exactly.
yes, agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
that's I miss that
Agreed.
so much. The thing I love about Taxi, of course, is the amazing ensemble cast. Judd
Amazing.
Hirsch, not enough credit either, although I think he won an Emmy for it. Um, the show, you couldn't have done the show without Judd Hirsch. He was sort of the straight man, and when he did actually have the funny lines, he did them incredibly well.
I
Um,
have the biggest late in life crush on Judd Hirsch. I really do.
really?
There's
Oh,
yes. And I saw him not to hijack your story, sorry, but I saw the ensemble of Taxi interviewed like a few years ago on a
yeah.
show I won't mention. I don't want to seem like I'm endorsing the show. But they all still looked really good and I saw Judd Hirsch and I'm like, I just still love him. Sorry, go
I know, I
ahead.
love him too. But
Yeah.
my two favorite characters, of course, were Louis De Palma and Jim Ignatowski. I mean, my favorite episode, my very first one I listed here, is Reverend Jim, A Space Oddity.
Yeah.
It's not the first episode with Reverend Jim. He actually is a guest star when Latka has to find someone to marry to keep in the country.
That's right.
But Jim comes back
Yeah.
and they say, let's get him a job at the cab company.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he has to first pass the driver's test.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Filling out the application, and he's like, okay, Jim, now it's time for you to take the test. And he's like, I
I just
but
remember, yeah,
that's a
Bobby and
classic
Elaine
episode.
trying to help him, and yeah, and they're like trying to feed him the answers, and that classic
And
moment
Bobby's
where
like, slow down. And he's
yes,
like, what?
what does a yellow light mean?
It's
Well,
great.
you know my go-to taxi line. If anybody has a stomach ache or whatever, I say, "Your wife's peach slop gave me the trots." Louis says that line on a show, and I've never forgotten it. And Danny DeVito, again, he's another one that Louis was so despicable, but he had that look in his eye that you're like, there's something more there, you know?
Episode about that is Louis's mother. When
Yes, yes.
Louis and his mother have a fight and she decides to move to a retirement place, and Louis just he can't, he doesn't want to admit it to anyone, but he can't function without her. And
Oh,
so finally Alex is like, look at yourself, Louis, because he's like letting himself go and he doesn't care about anything. And he's like, go get your mother. So he goes to the retirement place and he's like, Mama, I need you. You know, they're talking through a
yeah, yeah,
door. And
yeah,
when she opens that door
yeah.
and Danny DeVito's real little mother comes out of there,
Oh,
it
oh,
is the cutest thing ever. Oh my
oh.
gosh. I just love that episode because that shows like the really gentle side of Louis.
That's a show that's at the top of my comfort list. In fact, I was up last night, not for any bad reason, but I just couldn't sleep and I was watching Taxi. And yeah, just what a great cast, right? And what everybody gets a laugh. Everybody gets a
Everybody.
laugh. There's no one, and everybody also gets a moment with character exploration. There's a little
Yes.
moment where you see Bobby's motivation to want to make it as an actor. You see
Yes.
everybody's, they're just such a great cast. And Mary Lou Henner, I don't know why she was on Evening Shade too. That was such a
Yeah.
great show.
Yeah.
But she's so good too. Every just
Again,
you
you
can't
look
beat
at
that cast.
all of them. The only character that was expendable they got rid of in the first season, and that was John.
Yes,
He
yes,
wasn't funny. It just didn't work. And then they
yes.
brought Jim, and everything changed for the better.
Correct, correct.
And
Um,
Simca,
oh, Latka and Simka, forget it. I've
the
never.
episode where Latka cheats on Simca to save his life, basically,
Yeah,
with this woman in a snowstorm who was
that's
actually
what they
Agnes
all say, by the
DePesto.
way.
And she has to have sex with Alex then, and she comes to the door and she flops on the chair and says, "Peel me like a grape so I can get out of here."
That's right. I have never seen Carol Kane in another thing that I don't think of her being Simka. Oh my gosh. And Andy Kaufman, again, he plays Lodka with such, there's so vulnerability in there, but
Yes.
so funny. Oh my God.
There's so many funny stories which we can do if we do a deep dive on
Oh,
Taxi,
we're
but
gonna do a deep dive. This is
yeah,
nothing.
where Andy Kaufman created some like very funny situations.
Yes, yes, yes. Such a good show, though. Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
So who's
Okay.
your number three?
So my number three is not going to be surprising because we already alluded to it. And that's another one that I let play when I'm just working around the house, catching up on the laundry. And that's Alfred Hitchcock Presents.
Oh, okay.
Again,
Sorry, I didn't mean to take that, but we were on the right same
no, it is
wavelength.
on the right. I love those little 30-minute stories, but there's so much. We've lived through a whole character arc in 30 minutes that's so well developed. Now, I will say this, I've never seen so many men digging suspicious holes in their basements than in Alfred Hitchcock Presents, right? There's like several episodes where they need a new hot water heater dug in the basement. He calls his wife down to take a quick peek. But
Uh,
anyway, um, again, fabulous actors, people that we've seen
yeah,
before and later that become bigger names. I love Pat Hitchcock, Alfred Hitchcock's daughter. She
yeah.
pops up in some of the episodes. She's so adorable. There's just something about her acting. If you've seen Psycho and who hasn't, right? She works in the office with Janet Leigh, but she
Oh,
just
okay.
does
Oh,
such
that's who you mean? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, she does such a good job. My favorite is probably speaking of Psycho, he has Vera Miles in quite a few of the
Oh,
Alfred Hitchcock
yes.
Presents episodes, and that very first one where I kind of don't want to give a spoiler in this because I want people to watch it, but it's called Revenge. And she
Okay.
has something happen to her that she says she's been attacked and something happened to her, and her husband goes looking for this guy. And then there's more to the story, but it's just
I just
very,
saw that one recently. Now that you tell
yes,
me what it's
right?
about. Yeah.
And it has Aunt B in it as her neighbor in the trailer.
Yes.
Did you notice that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who at first I couldn't recognize her very well. She looked really different to me for some reason,
It's the
but you're right.
voice. I think it's the voice. But anyway, just very, very, and that quirky little hitch, the little stuff he says at the beginning and in the middle,
I
and the way
love it.
he wraps it up to make it seem like it ended however he wants it to end, mostly with a
Yes.
little joke. But just so interesting. If you like
We'll have
murder
to do a deep
mysteries,
dive on Hitchcock and his
oh,
movies
we sure
and
will.
just the
We sure
brilliance
will.
of him and what he created.
Yeah, we
And to
sure will.
take it from the movie genre into the TV genre, I mean, that's very difficult to do, but he was did it very
And to
successfully.
be able to do that in 30 minutes, which was really like 23 minutes by the
Yeah,
time your
yeah,
sponsors said all their jazz,
yeah.
and to be able to keep that high level of, like you said, kind of like movie magic in a small amount of time, and to also to be able to poke fun at the sponsors. That was something he was really
Yeah,
good at
yeah.
too. And just to tell a story in that amount of time. It's interesting. The stories will be, it'll say um from like Ellery Queen Mystery Magazine or whatever. I'm probably saying the wrong name, but if you look at where the stories come from, he goes a little bit far afield to get the stories too and adapt them, which I think is interesting.
Oh, okay. So he
Um,
he had something to build upon.
right. And some of them, of course, were his own stories are, written by so and so, written by, but you'll see at the bottom where it says sometimes they came from like ideas from mystery magazines or from here or there. And I'm sure someone out there will chime in with all the details. But I just think, again, I'm a huge Hitchcock fan. I just think you can't go
Me too.
wrong. It's something that every episode is high quality, full story in a short amount of time. And again, just takes you back to a simpler time when people had to really act and be talented.
That's it in a nutshell. And
Mhm.
that's it in a nutshell with the old movies too. It wasn't about boom, bam, visual craziness. It was about true acting,
Yep.
character building,
A
for
hundred
sure.
percent. 100%. All right, number two.
Okay, my number two, I went right to the edge of our time frame. This
Okay.
show started in 1988.
Okay.
And this show, I have a hard time rewatching because it is so much my life
Oh.
that I cry.
Oh,
It's the
okay.
Wonder Years.
Oh, yeah.
The
Yes.
Wonder Years is my life. Like, when I say that, I don't mean like
What they
my life.
actually did.
I
Yeah,
mean
yeah.
every ounce of it is so realistic to how things were growing up in the 70s. It just, and from the age that they start on the show going all the way through high school is just, there are so many episodes. There's one, I swear to God, it makes me bawl every time. I don't want to cry right now.
You could. It's all right. It's our show. Let it out.
But it's the episode, it starts out very simply where they're going on their annual vacation. And they bring Paul with them, who is
Of
his
course,
best
yes.
friend. And Paul has, of course, some sort of allergy attack.
I thought you were going to say asthma. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of thing.
Yeah.
He gets
Yeah.
hives or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And he can't leave the room. And everything's kind of going wrong. They bring Karen, who's the older sister, and
Yes.
she is going through her high school sassy, I don't want to be here times. Wayne, of course, the middle brother, is just a nasty guy.
Yeah. Wayne's
And
awful.
Kevin is like remembering how things used to be. And like you see them playing like the old videos of them as little kids playing in the water and hugging their dad. And because everything had changed.
Hmm.
And I know that feeling,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I think at this age, especially, and really, hey, that's partially why we're here right now talking on our retro
Yeah.
channel, right? Is those things are so comforting. I mean, we went across country in the Country Squire station
Yeah.
wagon. You were 15, I was 5. God
I was
bless mom and
13.
dad. You were 13, so I would have been
Yes.
3.
Yeah.
Oh,
You were
good
only
gravy.
yeah.
So we crossed the country, a surly 13-year-old and a chatty 3-year-old
Yes.
in the Country Squire. I mean, and we
I don't know
stopped
how
along,
I don't know how our parents did it.
I
I
don't
swear to
know.
God, I don't.
And we stopped along the way and saw everything,
We did.
right? No
And I don't
Christy Brinkley
think
in a Ferrari, though.
I'm trying to think of how long it took us.
Had to be a solid week, right?
It had to be a week there and a week back, and
Yep.
I guess we stayed there a week, our
Oh,
destination. So
God. Di, I didn't even think about that week back.
yeah, we had to get back.
The getting there, it's all fresh, but he's got to get us all home again.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah. No, I know. And I remember this is going to take us down a small side trip, but back to Wonder Years, is you had a true cassette player with the
Yes.
radio, like put in to, and your little, like Mickey Hart, your little Mickey,
Yes.
your hello,
And the
Mother
songs I
Harper.
recorded from the radio by holding the
Yes.
microphone there.
Yes. 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 That'll
I
be
can
a whole
remember a
other
lot of the
thing.
songs too. It's so crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll hear it
No,
on the radio now and I'll be like, that reminds me of the California trip.
I mean, I think that's really the draw with the Wonder Years. I think it really was. It was that bit of
Yeah.
nostalgia for that time period, and in some ways simpler times, but in some ways a time with a lot of we're not going to get political here, but upheaval in the world going on.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because that was a little bit of the show too, where the
yeah,
oldest daughter
yeah.
was having different political beliefs than the father. And there was a lot of
Right.
turmoil that, and I could picture myself being Kevin, the kid that age at the time, and just sitting
Yeah.
back and being a little bit scared and sad about what you were witnessing
What
when
was going
things
on?
change.
Yeah,
When you go
sure.
from little kids where you're a family and you're having fun together, where you're not having fun together anymore. And
Yes.
it's like I could feel everything that the actor was feeling. It's such a great show. If you grew up in the 70s and you've never watched that show,
Yeah.
do
The
it.
Wonder Years. Yeah, Fred Savage. He's quite a good actor for sure. He's
Yeah.
another
He
one
and
that I feel
they
like,
all were really, the
yeah,
kids were really good.
the parents, everybody. It was quite a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, so number 2 for me could just as easily be number 1. I had a hard time with my number 1 and my number 2. I got to be honest here. Number 2 for me is the Golden Girls. I'm
Oh,
not sure
yes.
that there is a funnier show or a funnier group of actors out there that were not even, I mean, they knew it was funny, but the lines themselves, they're just so witty. B. Arthur, God rest her. I love Dorothy. I think the older I get, I'm becoming more and more Dorothy every day. Um, Betty White, I could say less because you everybody knows Betty White, Rue McClanahan, Estelle Getty. Just, I mean, just a dream cast.
Yeah.
Everything they said was magic.
And
All
a
the lines.
topic that had never been on TV before, a cast of older
Yes.
women and what they go through.
Yes, yes. And I think a side note on that even is that older women who financially needed to come together
Yeah.
because, right, they needed each other like spiritually, emotionally on every level for
Yes.
support. So not just, a single older woman being depicted, but being depicted as a cohesive group and how women support each other and come together to lift each other up before it was talked about much,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Women depicted on TV were Crystal and Alexis in the fountain pulling each other's hair,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or depicted in familial roles, maybe, but never as supportive friends. I mean, we had our Mary and Rhoda, we had good friends, but you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
kind of
They
like
didn't live together
that
though. They
kind of
lived sort of.
empowering.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then mixed in, you've got Dorothy and Sophia singing I Got You, Babe, dressed as Sonny and Cher. So there's so much magic there. And
Yes.
look, I know there's some stuff now that wouldn't be considered PC, but I think in a lot of ways they were touching on topics that were newly being handled on TV. And I think they were trying to show, love for certainly some people that were feeling disenfranchised or on the fringe. I think they did a good job of it, especially at the time. I mean,
And I
they,
love how they mixed in the reality of that they
yeah,
would be getting on each other's nerves.
yes,
I mean, a
yes,
group of women would have a hard time living together, I think, at that
yes.
age, because you are very set in your ways. But it made it so much better that they showed those times and the humor in it,
A
because it
hundred
was
percent.
such a realistic thing that they would be definitely getting on each other's nerves.
Yes. And just the like cultural moments like the Dirty Dancing where they took a Dirty Dancing
Oh my
class and
gosh.
Rose and Blanchard Dirty Dancing and just the moments, cameos from Burt Reynolds and Sonny Bono and Lyle Waggoner.
Oh yeah, I love that episode.
Yes, yes. It's just magic. I think it's just that's when I can go back and even though in some ways you see the styles and you're like, oh, this is a very specific time. Um, it's just consistently funny. Everybody's so talented. It's like it's again, that's when I would watch, if it's for comfort or for
And
a laugh.
such props to Betty White and Rue McClanahan, who both made major swaps in the
Yes,
character they had previously played.
that's right.
Betty White was the Rose
The
on Mary
vixen.
Tyler Moore. I
Yeah,
mean,
the
the
vixen.
Blanche on Mary
Yes.
Tyler Moore. You know,
Yes. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
on Mama's Family, or I guess maybe it was Maud. Rue McClanahan was more like the Rose character.
Right.
And it
Right.
was so brilliant that they swapped them because it really showed what good actresses they were.
Right. And I think, like shows tended to do in the 80s, they were handling some pretty heavy topics, but doing it still with some humor in a
Yes,
nice way.
yes.
I really, I don't know. It's a great show. So
It
that
is a great show. It's a
that was
classic.
it is. It's classic. And that's acting. Let's be honest. Most of their show took place in that living room and kitchen set. They
And you
went
know what
full
else I
time.
really love is they knew when it was time to end. They
Yeah.
didn't let it go too long.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, but a lot of nothing that's on here. Well, maybe Dallas, where Dallas went on too long. I think I stopped watching after like season 12 because it
Yeah.
was starting to get stale and there was only so much they could do to poor Sue Ellen, that kind of thing.
It was always Sue Ellen.
Yeah. And
The
I
only
find a
thing,
lot of the great shows, either I didn't like the very beginning, first couple episodes or whatever, where they're trying to find their way, or it went on too long.
right. Well, I will say B. Arthur knew when to leave, but they did try to make a spin-off called
Yeah.
Golden Palace. And I think B. Arthur is like, Nat, where the magic
Yeah.
is, we're gonna put a pin in it
Yeah.
here, and
They
that
made a
can't go
mistake by
without it.
doing that.
Yeah,
They
I
did the
think so
same thing
too.
with MASH. They tried
Yeah.
the after MASH, and that was just so
Oh,
bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so bad.
yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that's in my top two for sure.
Great pick. Great pick. So
There,
my number one should be anybody out there who knows me already knows the answer to this question. It
mhm.
is, of course, I Love Lucy. I did have to go into the 1950s, but my God, it's worth it for I Love Lucy.
I just have
There,
to say, before you say more, is that it is also mine because
yay.
if you're a retro TV lover and if you love sitcoms, that's where it all started.
And I think when I look at other lists that are done, there's a game I play online where you're like answering, trying to figure out what the lists are, and it's almost always number one or number two. They try to sneak in a few more modern ones sometimes, but I Love Lucy is always in everyone's top 10. And how could it not be? There was so much more to it than just the brilliant acting of the four main characters.
It's the
Desi
format.
Arnaz and the way he developed in the filming of the show, and how brilliant to have taken the rights to the show, because his family is still benefiting from royalties, I'm sure.
I
And
mean, the camera process, right, with the multiple
the three
cameras,
camera process,
the
yeah.
actual format where we know how it goes, a charming little setup, problem, everybody's mad, nice little wrap up where we're all giggling and laughing and sending you off for your day with, that
Yes,
everything's okay in the world.
yes.
He understood the
and
format.
and things too, though, that not perfect marriages,
Yeah.
Fred and
Right.
Ethel were, by the way, hated each other in real life,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they were that older couple you see a lot of, where,
Yeah.
like, yeah, we love each other, but God, we get on each other's nerves,
Right.
kind of thing. And
Right.
Lucy and Ricky being the younger couple, still pretty romantic with each other, but definitely get into some to-dos. And I'm sure people think, when they watch it, the more modern day person think there are parts of that, oh my God, that is so, these
Right.
poor women, what they had to live through. But
Right.
that's how
Right.
it was then. And
Right.
it's
And
okay to look back
yeah.
at
Yeah.
different times of
Right.
the world.
Yeah, no, we've come a long way for sure, but I think there's still if you're married or in a partnership, there's still that moment where you're like, "Oh, I don't want them to know what I paid for this." Right? So, there's still some elements in there. Now, there's not the element like he has the say in everything that happens, but at the same time there are still basic elements of marriage and partnership that are present there, for
I
sure.
really find very few episodes that don't stand the test of time in
Yeah.
some way or another.
Right, right,
And
right.
Lucy is one of those shows that I will say probably the first 10 episodes I do
Oh,
not
right.
care for.
I did
They
not
were
either.
finding their way. I
Right.
think it's before Desi Arnaz really stepped in and took over
It
and
felt very like
said,
vaudeville little
yeah,
vignettes. It was
it
not,
was
yeah.
too much. It was too overdone.
Mhm.
Lucille Ball settled into what worked with her comedy, and my God, did it work. I
She
mean,
even modulated her voice differently after that first. There was
yes,
almost a little Betty Boopish feeling at the beginning,
yes,
Oh, Ricky. And by the time she got it settled in to like her probably really finding her authority around there,
yes,
she was no
yeah.
longer at the beck and call of the studio. This was her baby at this point. So I
Yeah, and
think
such
maybe
props to her when they got
Mhm.
divorced and she took over Desi Lou. That was a lot of responsibility for a woman at that time. I mean, just like happens to a lot of women, she kind of got labeled as bitchy because she wanted things done right.
Well, what
And
did she say? They put the S on the end of her last name after that.
oh, yeah, she likes that though. Like I think
I
she
love
was
that.
proud of being ballsy, I guess, as you would
Right.
say.
And
Um,
her fame was based off of their partnership, or so it seemed. So it took a lot to leave, he was a cheater, a drinker, and I don't
yes,
want that to overshadow,
yeah.
the show, but at the same time, it took a great amount of courage for her to leave that situation and
Yes, it
still
did.
have her career intact, her popularity intact, all of those things.
And
So
she went on to have two more successful shows.
she
Now,
sure did.
sadly, her fourth show towards the end of her life didn't work
Right,
out. But, you
right.
know, the one thing I will say about Desi Arnaz is you could see in the scripts on the second two shows the loss of him because
Oh,
things got a little bit more campy. It went back to that more
old storyline style that they
set up.
actually pulled out of I Love Lucy. You felt some
Yes,
storylines being
yes.
repeated. Yeah.
And even to have Vivian Vance come along with her, the first maybe year or two of that show, I liked it. And then the Here's Lucy, where she had Desi Jr. and
That was cute. That
Lucy
felt different.
Jr.
That
Yeah,
felt
that was cute for my age at that time because
yes.
Desi Jr. was cute.
He is so cute. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. For sure. And
yeah,
the banter between the siblings that you felt like, I wonder if this is real. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
for
I
sure.
think, what's your favorite episode of I Love Lucy?
Oh my gosh, that is a hard one to
It
say.
is hard.
I actually like where they're heading to California and they keep passing Aunt Sally's pecan praline signs. That and they go to Skinner's Roadside Diner. That is
Yes.
not, there's just something about the whole thing. The signs where Fred said, I told you she was spending too much money on those signs. I just, there's something about that I
When
love.
they
I
get
think,
into that cabin and the train goes by and Ethel comes out with the
yes.
toothpaste all over.
And just Ethel putting Fred into the bed and taking his nightshirt so he doesn't go down into that
Yes.
hole in the bed.
And
I
Lucy
mean,
says, "You do that every night?" She's like, "Yeah, but it took years of practice."
yes. And then, yeah, just everything about it. The cheese sandwiches that,
Yes.
everything, just him like tricking them back around in a circle.
Yep.
I think I really like those getting to California episodes.
The
Of
California episode.
course, though, I mean, it's been copied, it's been mentioned, it's been the Candy Factory, of course. I mean, it's just brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant comedy.
My
And
favorite episode is called LA at Last. It's when they first get to California and
uh-huh.
she encounters William Holden at
Oh,
the
yeah.
Brown Derby. The
Yes.
both of them performed that scene when they're in the booths so perfectly. I can't imagine anybody else doing it as well as William Holden and Lucille Ball did at that time. And Ethel, when she comes across and has to cut the spaghetti, I
With
mean, it's
deadpan
brilliant
face on.
stuff.
Her and
Yeah.
Fred deadpan while they're cutting the
Yes.
spaghetti. And honestly, I have to tell you though, if you and I were there, we would have been two Johnny jump ups as well as Fred said.
Yes.
They
Oh,
were
of
like,
course.
we've been like, Gregory Peck, where? I love where they again where they're calling out the names like call for Gregory Peck and the girls are like and then Fred says you two Johnny jump up sit down and they say call for Ava Gardner and he's like where and then Ethel said wait you said they're just people like you and me and he said she might be people Ethel but she's not like you and me. That is one of my favorite lines. I
Yes.
just like yeah all
Yes.
those California episodes I really like I
I
really,
do
really like
too.
those yeah
I
yeah
did. I feel very lucky that I did go to the I Love Lucy
yeah
Museum,
that's
and they
cool.
had the mock-ups of the New York apartment and the California
Is that in
apartment.
Jamestown, New York, by any
Yes,
chance?
it is.
Yes.
Yes, it is. And I
Nice.
learned a couple things there, like Lake Chautauqua, where they say there's an episode of the saxophone where
Yes.
she's pulling stuff out of a trunk, and she's like, "Oh, this is the fish Ricky caught at Lake Chautauqua,"
Yeah.
and Lake Chautauqua is right there in Jamestown.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
just
that's
little things that I
interesting.
didn't know.
Well, I think that leads me, and we could do a whole other thing on I Love Lucy because what
Deep
we
dive
know about
Lucy.
Lucy, we
Yeah.
could do a 2 weeks of I Love Lucy.
Yes.
But I also love the episode where Ethel and Carolyn Appleby, not Carolyn Appleby, Betty Ramsey, when they first moved to Westport, and
Yes.
and Ethel's a little jealous of Betty Ramsey, and then they find out they're both from Albuquerque.
Yeah.
That episode I love, where she's like, "Oh my gosh," they're reminiscing about Albuquerque, and Lucy's like, "I was born in Jamestown." She's trying to interject herself back in.
Yes. Yes. I love that one too. That's like so realistic because that's what would happen. she tried to bring them together, but then she's like, wait a minute, don't leave me out.
Well, I have to say on the Lucy front, so Aiden, my son, her nephew, he said he had two friends in third grade that he liked, and he said he introduced them. I said, "How did it go?" And he said, "Well, let's put it this way. Betty, what is it? Wait, Ethel Potter, Betty Foster." So they hit it off, needless to say, but I'm kind of proud I have a child that was that was the analogy. He said he felt like Lucy going, "I'm from Jamestown. I was Lucy McGillicuddy." Oh, oh.
Well, I think we did great.
I think you
I
did
feel
great.
like I have to say that I changed Carol Burnett to Carol Burnett, and what was in its place literally was painful to my heart.
Okay.
I had initially had Mary Tyler Moore show.
I know that's your jam. That's your
Yes.
jam. I do know that. I
But
thought
I felt
also
like,
your other jam, the Dick Van Dyke Show.
yes, both of those painful not to put for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the reason I took Mary Tyler Moore off was because I didn't particularly care as much for the episodes after Rhoda left.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some good ones like Chuckles, bites the dust. That one's
Yeah.
hilarious. But yeah.
Stay
So
tuned
so
for
I
what
would
that
say
means.
she's my number 6 there.
Yeah, I love that.
For
Well,
sure.
we'll be back with more. We haven't even scratched the surface yet.
We have so many things that we're looking forward to doing, so many topics. We'll deep dive these shows, we'll deep dive certain actors and movies and best looking people, and
I
it's endless.
I just have to go on record as saying one thing about this list. The thing on my list that is really glaringly missing, if you know me, is Happy Days. I
Yeah, I
always
thought
love
Happy
Happy
Days
Days.
would be there.
And the reason it's not here is because I feel like we're going to have a Happy Days deep dive. But
Yes.
I am a huge Henry Winkler fan. I love Happy Days. You remember I had that poster of the Fonz over my bed as a
Yes.
pretty little girl. I've always loved that show. And really, I'm just going to put it out in the universe. I would really love for us someday to right on here be asking Mr. Donnie Most or one of those stars some questions.
Yeah.
So let's just put
Yes.
it out there. But yeah, this is so much fun. And if you're watching right now, drop in the comments, what are your top 5 shows of
Absolutely.
all time? So that's a tall order, but between we'll let you go into the 50s like we did and the 80s. Go right
Yeah.
in that category and give us your top 5. And of course,
Sure.
subscribe, like, follow. We'd love to hear from you. If you have suggestions, we're always going to hit this format. We're going to lay our top 5 on you. But if you have suggestions for a retro nostalgic topic in those time frames that you would like to talk about, lay it on us. And you probably know why it's called Something Suddenly Came Up. But some more things.
If you don't, stay with us and you'll find out.
Because also, not on this list, but it's there. That'll be a deep dive too.
That'll be a deep dive for sure. One of the most quotable shows for sure.
Oh my gosh, that affected we quote it to this day. Makes me want to have
I
something.
want to say too, like, even if you're a young person and you maybe know about these shows a little bit, stay with us because it'll be a way for you to have things to add to your list of shows you want to see. And perhaps, what do you call it when you watch a bunch of shows at one time?
Oh, binge watch?
Binge watch.
Yeah. And also, there are things from these time frames that are in the culture. They're part of our culture, really.
Absolutely.
A lot of quotes that, and something might suddenly come up and you'll know.
Yeah, that's right. Right. That's exactly it.
All right. Well,
and when you want to watch our video, but you might have another thing planned, call that person up and say something suddenly came up. So
exactly. That's right.
Yo.
That's right. Exactly. That's correct. All right. Well, Groovy Granny, amazing job. This was a blast from the past, literally. So if you want to join us again in the Wayback Machine every week, like, follow, subscribe, and again, comment, And I can't wait to hear what your top 5 favorite shows are. So until
Yeah,
next
same
time, gang,
here.
yeah, stay
Thanks,
groovy,
everybody.
and we'll see you next time.
Bye
Thanks.
bye.
Bye.